What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, piece by piece, we started to learn more about Steve Rogers' return to the MCU, where at first it was just a rumor that he would be part of a second casting announcement, where recently we've had multiple industry insiders weigh in, confirming that he was already on the set of Avengers Doomsday, filming under the codename Luke Cage, and that in fact, a Luke Cage house was built to replicate the one that we last saw him in at the end of Avengers Doomsday, with industry insider Daniel RPK picking up last week and saying that they were actually filming scenes with Steve Rogers, Peggy Carter, and two mystery actors. Well, we have a brand new update today, and if true, not only confirms that most recent update, but actually names one of the key mystery characters and confirms a plot leak from earlier in the year, pointing to a multiversal Avengers. We're breaking it all down, this latest leak, and who at least one of the two mystery characters on set were. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, thanks to everyone who's been subbing lately and helped grow the channel, and if you haven't already, I just kindly invite you to do so. It's the #1 thing you can do to support us. Plus, it'll enter you for all the giveaways. If you want, stick around at the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so during the prologue, I mentioned there have been steady updates about Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter filming on the set of Avengers Doomsday, and last we heard there were some mystery characters filming a scene with them. Now, we speculated in that video as to who those mystery characters could be, and apparently we were right in that one of them is Loki. Just days ago, Unbox PhD confirmed that Loki, Tom Hiddleston, had actually filmed on the set of Avengers Doomsday. That was followed by an update from none other than Daniel Rickman. You guys can follow him over on Twitter at DanielRPK, who said that one of those mystery characters with Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers was Tom Hiddleston present at the Luke Cage house having a conversation with the two of them. Now, as I also mentioned during the prologue, there was a huge plot leak earlier in the year that pointed to several different Avengers teams showing up during the course of Avengers Doomsday, and at least one of them was said to be Loki recruiting his own multiversal Avengers, sort of like we saw in What If, and different variants from across the multiverse, as he sought the key warriors to fight against Dr. Doom. Now, we've got an extended theory on this that ties to others that we don't have time to cram into this video. However, you could see our Loki God of Stories, one of his last adversaries in the Battle of New York, was that variant of Steve Rogers that went to return those Infinity Stones, and he could point to directly that as the variant he wants on his squad. So not only is it a Steve Rogers from somewhere in the multiverse alongside Peggy Carter, it's literally our Steve Rogers from last we saw him in Avengers Endgame, and although there may be an old man Cap version of him somewhere in this 616, they're going to pick up almost exactly where we left off with the end of Avengers Endgame, which sort of has been the leak and the rumor all along as far as what Steve Rogers we would be getting by the time we get back to Avengers Secret Wars. Now, at the risk of pulling a Reed Richards and stretching way too far, you can sort of line this up with some of the other leaks we've heard sequentially about what the first act may look like, and this may all start with Thor. Early leaks indicated that Thor might actually be one of the first characters in the 616 that's alerted to what's going on with incursions and the greater problems of the multiverse, specifically the forecoming of Dr. Doom, and it's said to be Love's connection to Eternity and possibly even the celestial body Eternity themselves that are wanting to warn Thor. This is what could send Thor on a mission to try to assemble his own team and lead him directly to the TVA, where he runs into Loki, shares what he knows about what's happening, and then him and Loki embark on connecting with a bunch of multiverse Avengers. And if Thor is truly that other mystery character that's in that scene alongside Loki trying to recruit Steve Rogers, you could see even more why Thor would be picking Steve Rogers first after they just fought technically side by side in Avengers Endgame, and he knows Captain America is worthy of wielding Mjolnir. Also, it doesn't have to be more complicated than back to the fray, grab your homies. And since he knows Stark is dead and Hulk is smart, again, the first draft pick here is easily Steve Rogers. Now, if you're wondering who else is on this team that Loki is supposedly rounding up for his own multiverse Avengers, the rumors have indicated that this team might be the Exiles, but it seems like that's where they left off What If with, that team being the Exiles in a future TV show. I'm not sure they're going to use that same name, but team members have included, again according to the rumors, Sylvie, Ouroboros, Hunter B-15, potentially Deadpool and Wolverine, Gambit, Captain Carter, and Nomad Steve Rogers. Which, for the sake of it, I would like to point out a majority, if not all of these characters have not been named in any of the casting announcements. So if this is truly what his team looks like, none of them have been announced yet, which is kind of nuts. Now, you could also see where this is going, obviously with Thor and Deadpool in that scene where he's crying, them all ending up on the same team, and then Deadpool fighting alongside Steve Rogers, Captain America. Oh, that's a match made in heaven, as well as Steve Rogers and Wolverine I cannot wait. Cap and Wolverine overlapping in the MCU is an absolute dream. The two of them fighting side by side, you can see how, while the first half of this roster, maybe not a lot of powerhouses between Ouroboros and B-15, but when you add Sylvie, which is essentially like a base level Loki, to Captain Carter and Nomad Steve Rogers, along with Gambit, Deadpool, and Wolverine, all of a sudden this team becomes amazing. And I have a feeling, much in the way that Thor, Rocket, and Groot arrived in the 11th hour in Wakanda, just when it looked like that Avengers team was about to take an L, they may do the same thing here while Loki and Thor are busy during Avengers Doomsday trying to get this team together, and they show up right at the end when the battle's at its thickest, and with a little comic relief because in comes Deadpool, plus who else are you going to rather see at that point than Steve Rogers and Wolverine come pouring out of a portal with Gambit to boot. So it sounds like all of those early rumors, even though they were just that, are starting to materialize into a very clear picture for what's going on with the team compositions and how they're running into each other, and what this means for those characters ever seeing the X-Men quote unquote, or Wolverine and Deadpool matching up with the old Fox X-Men characters. Well, there have been rumors lately that we may explore up to 4 universes simultaneously outside of the 616, the 10005, and the 828. That could also be the mystery X-Men universe, although we've said here at the channel we're pretty confident that wherever Monica Rambeau is now with Beast and Charles Xavier, that timeline is the same as Deadpool and Wolverine. It's all one Fox timeline of the 10005, but obviously with the 828 and the 838 existing the way they did, and within the multiversal saga, that theory could be completely wrong. But you guys let me know all your thoughts about any and all of this in a comprehensive look now at a bird's eye view for Loki's team and how you can see it coming together. Do you guys see it like me, or maybe a little differently? And quite honestly, who else you've got on that squad if we are uniting the likes of Wolverine and Steve Rogers? I am all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, still giving away PlayStations for the next 2 Marvel drops throughout the end of the year. And when we get into the holiday season, we'll move into some other giveaways like we do at the channel normally, comic books, etc. If you want to be entered to win or for any of the future giveaways, all you got to do, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here, live with my voice, and the winning comments shown on screen. Make sure to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on to keep up with the videos. And of course, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name All Fires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks to those of you who already have, and the support, I can't thank you enough. Thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.